I'm going to teach you how to make a terrarium out of this lovely Coke bottle. The first step is to take the wrapper off the bottle. Some of them are trickier than others, so you might want to wash it under the sink with some warm water. That's usually a good trick to get that label off. Because the goal is to have the majority of this space open so that light can come in and nourish the plant. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to actually cut the base of the bottle from the top. The base is going to be where you plant your milkweed. And to do that, there is some skill involved. And practice makes perfect, so don't be upset if you aren't successful the first time. But what I always do is kind of smash it down like this. And I always use my dominant hand, I'm right-handed. And using the sharp part of the scissors, lean forward. You hear that? I poked right through the plastic. So once you do that, you can invert it back and just cut along the edge. Now the location of the cut is going to be dependent upon the height of the plant, so you're going to want to experiment with that. The taller your plant is, the more of the bottle you're going to want to keep. So I would just kind of play around with it. Alright, so there you go. There is the base. It's going to act as the pot for your plant. And here's the top. So, everybody knows that when you plant a plant in a flower pot, you need holes in the bottom to keep the roots from rotting. To create holes, all you need to do is get a nail. Any size will do. And a hammer. And you're going to poke holes at the apex of the base of the bottle. I would not suggest trying to poke holes in the valleys because the plastic is thicker. And you shouldn't have any problem getting them in at the apex of the bottom. See, there you go. See how easy that is? It went right through. I always try to put 2 holes in each apex, just for good measure. Since this will be a closed system, water does stay in the bottle pretty easily. You probably won't need to water these plants at all during the course of your experiment, which is why it's extra important that you have these holes in here. Alright, so once you've done that for each one of the apexes of the base, you'll go ahead and plant your milkweed plant inside. And then you take the top, and it should fit in perfect like that. And this is what's going to create that closed system. You shouldn't be able to get anything in or out. The last step after you have your plant in there is to put cotton on the top. I usually buy the double-sized cotton. I know that in a school you're probably on a budget, so any size will do. But if you have to use the smaller ones, I would use more than one and kind of stuff it in there. Like so. I would also suggest in a classroom to have your students tape it shut, because when you have a whole group of them lined up, things get kind of moved around and you don't want the tops popping off. I wouldn't make it super secure tape because they may need to open the lid on occasion to count their aphids. Another tip that I would like to share is whenever you label your bottle, I would use tape, like some duct tape, and write it on the base of the bottle, because on occasion tops might get switched and whatnot. But if you don't want your treatments to get mixed, I would make labeling the base of the bottle a priority. Also, I mentioned using duct tape and writing on the duct tape. I would not write directly on the base of the bottle because you probably will want to reuse these for multiple classes. If you want to reuse this lesson, I would definitely encourage not writing directly on the bottle. Duct tape's pretty easy to come off. And then, of course, if you aren't going to reuse them for another experiment, then definitely we encourage you to recycle them. So that's my little demonstration on how to make a terrarium for your aphid project.